But we're going to Vancouver now. Rick Dhaliwal joins us from TSN 1040 Radio. That's a WHL town, too. And Rick's on that scene. He's on every scene in Vancouver. Good morning, Rick. How are you?
Rod, doing great. I just want to start by saying pleasure to be on your show. Big fan of yours, and respect all the work you've done over the years and all the sports in Saskatchewan. Just a pleasure to be here.
Thank you, Rick. Very nice of you. And I was upset I missed your first appearance on it last month on this program. So I'm glad I'm able to chat with you this morning. And look, we're doing a hockey show today, but can we just jump into the BC Lions sale thing? Because Gary Drummond's from here, and there was a report that he might be involved in buying his group to buy the BC Lions. I know you've been talking with David Braley. Can we just start there and where that's at?
Yeah, okay. I talked to David on Monday when the Alouettes got sold. I asked him flat out, I go, hey, what's going on? Okay, so I don't know if you know yet, Rod, the price for the Alouettes. Nobody can figure out the price for the Alouettes. I'm assuming it's between 10 and 15 million. I'm assuming that whatever the Alouettes went for is what the Lions are going to go for, okay? Nobody locally is stepping up in a big way yet, and that disappoints me, Rod, because I believe in local ownership. David Braley, God bless him, has owned this football team for 23 years. Nobody has stepped up locally. He's got 3 groups he's talking to, but they're all out of town. And talks have picked up in the last 2-3 weeks. I believe with the Alouette sale, talks will pick up even more because now potential buyer in Vancouver can say, okay, look, major market team in Montreal went for this number. This is what the Lions are worth. 2-3 years ago, I think David Braley, Rod, was asking for between 25 and 30 million. Can't do that anymore. I think the number that Braley had also was what the Stampeders went for to the Flames, which was 17 million for 70-80%. He was basing a lot off of that. But right now, out-of-town groups are talking to David. Nobody locally. Rod, again, disappoints me. I believe in local ownership. Nobody locally, although some people in this city still think that Francesco Aquilini, the Canucks owner, is still sniffing around the lines. He checks in periodically. There are some people out there that believe Aquilini will come in at the end and buy the Lions. I don't know about that, but I do know he checks in with Braley once in a while. It would make sense if Aquilini bought the Lions. He'd have the Canucks. He'd have the lacrosse team. The Flames got all that stuff. They got their American League team. They got the Western Hockey League team. All that stuff. I think Aquilini would like something like that, what's happening with the Flames, and you got all these teams under one umbrella. But right now, I think talks are picking up. A lot of people in this city want Braley to sell the team. He's doing it at a slower pace than a lot of people would like. But I believe now that the Alouettes have been sold, I think it's going to help quickly with the BC Lions sale.
Well, this might be redundant, but would you be in favor of Aquilini buying the Lions? Because I'm not a fan of the sports conglomerates, but it ensures stability at the very least. So I think I would vote in favor of that.
Rod, I'm in on it because it's local. You remember John McCaw owned the Canucks and the Grizzlies? He was from Seattle back in the mid-'90s. It was a disaster. He never came up. He never talked to the media. David, hey, listen, let's give Braley credit. He lost $7 million in the first 3 years of ownership of the BC Lions, and he's been there ever since. And he's kept the CFL alive in the city. You know, Rod, Vancouver, Toronto, Montreal, they need help when it comes to the CFL. Let's be honest. David's kept it alive. Got to give him credit. But now it's time to sell, and he's willing to sell. But I don't see anyone locally. I do believe if Aquilini buys it, I think it's good. He'll have the Canucks, the Lions, the lacrosse team. Maybe he gets the Western Hockey League team from Ron Toigo down the road. Maybe he brings the American Hockey League team from Utica to Abbotsford or to the Lower Mainland. I'm just a big fan, Rod, of local ownership. I think it matters, and I think Aquilini's got deep pockets to keep the Lions around for many, many more years.
To hockey now, and I know our hockey analyst Jared Dumba has some questions for you too, but he had mentioned the Canucks. I'm a Travis Green fan. He's a Dub guy. They just had a 7-game win streak snapped in Tampa in rude fashion. But it's hard to win in the NHL period, let alone 7 in a row. Do you see the Canucks on the right path here currently?
I'm going to tell you something, Rod. December 16th in Vancouver, and the Canucks have lost 4 of their past 5. I was doing the post-game show on TSN 1040. The negativity, Rod, that night was a fever pitch. Fire Green, fire Benning, fire everybody. Is there anybody you can't fire? They had lost 4 or 5, and the sky was falling. Then they go on this 7-game winning streak, and everybody's loving Travis now. Okay, Travis Green. I heard somebody the other day, get him an extension. Travis Green. I'm a big Travis Green fan too. I love what he did in the Western Hockey League. When Travis has got a good roster, Ron, he Portland, right there with the Mem Cup in your province, he took Utica to the American Hockey League final. I'm a big Travis Green guy too. But this city, it has been no playoffs 4 years, and you don't want to be in this city, Rod, if there's no playoffs in 5. There's going to be a lot of negativity. But right now, they win 7 straight. But what did 7 straight get them, Rod? It got them barely to 8th place in the West. And so Gary Bettman, his parody, the Canucks win 7 straight, Rod, and they all it got them was to 8th place. All it got them, and today they wake up in 9th place because Calgary won the other night in Chicago. So all I'm saying, it is so tough to climb the standings. Everybody in the Pacific Division was on winning streaks. The top 5 teams in the Pacific Division were all on winning streaks. What I'm trying to say is the 7-game winning streak was great, but all it did was get them to 8th place. Today they wake up in 9th, heading in a big game in Florida tonight. But all I'm saying is it's just so hard to climb the standings. They won 7 straight, Rod, and everyone was happy, albeit they were outshot in a lot of the games, and Jacob Markstrom was the key why they won a lot of those games. All I'm saying is it's so tough to climb the standings in the West. The parity, Gary Bettman wanted parity, Roddy got it.
With watching Vancouver, they seem like a team to me, like if they get hot at the right time and sneak into the playoffs, that they could do some damage, some real damage. Watching them, when they're not on, they're not on. But when they are on, they're a tough team to beat with all that skill. Do you think if they get in, they can make a noise, maybe win a round or 2?
Oh, hey, listen, some of the best young talent in the NHL is right
Agreed.
here. Pedersen, Besser. I mean, they got some great young pieces. Absolutely. And look at Jacob Markstrom. He's in a contract year. The biggest decision the Canucks have right now off the ice, I just want to get to quickly, is Markstrom. What do you do? This guy's put himself in a position, guys, to get a significant raise, significant term. If he doesn't get it from Vancouver, he's going to get it July 1st. You know that, right? And the second big decision they got to make out here is Chris Tanev. What do you do with Chris Tanev? He's a UFA. Markstrom's a UFA. Those are 2 big decisions in Vancouver right now. The trading deadline is around the corner. There's great young pieces here. The core is there to be successful for many, 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 many more years. But 2 big decisions for me. Markstrom, what do you do? And Tanev, what do you do? That's 2 big ones for me right there.
One more for you, Rick. One of the reasons I appreciate you the most is you're on top of every sports team in Vancouver, and that includes the Giants. And producer Clark says that you've got some thoughts on Mike Dick's club.
Yeah, well, look, Rod, you're a great supporter of the Western Hockey League, and so am I. I love junior hockey. And you know what? Listen, here's the key. The Western Hockey League Bantam draft is the Bantam trading deadline is Friday. Okay, I talked to Barclay Parnetta, the Giants GM, last night. He's working the phones feverishly. He's trying to make a trade, a big one. There's a kid in Brandon, Luca Burzan, who's a 19-year-old local kid out of Surrey. A lot of teams are in the West are in on Burzan, but I don't know if Brandon trades him. I just don't know. I know the Giants are poking around trying to get him out of Brandon. That would be that guy's a good player. So the Giants. The window to win with Bowen Byram is not large. I don't know if Bowen Byram is going to be here next year. He might be back, let's be honest. But the window to win with this guy is not long. And the Giants went to Game 7 of the Western Hockey League final last year. This year's been a disappointment. I'm disappointed in the way they've played. They lost a lot of 19, 20-year-olds. Lost a lot of 20-year-olds, didn't get a ton back for them. And, in the Western League, Rod, you can't win without good 19-20s. They're a young team. But they are working the phones feverishly. I think they're going to try and hit a home run here at the trade deadline on Friday in the Western Hockey League because, boy, there's some good teams in the West. Kelowna made another trade yesterday. To keep up with the Joneses, I think the Giants got to make a big deal, and I think it's going to happen on Friday.
Wow. Well, I've heard people expecting a coaching change in Vancouver. I just pray that's not the case. Overtime, Game 7,
No.
league final. Like, give me a break. But, hey, I've seen
No.
crazier things. Rick, thanks for the update, my man. All the best in 2020. Keep in touch.
Always a pleasure. You're the best thing there is in Saskatchewan. Keep up the great work.
Thank you, Rick. Appreciate it, buddy.
You're watching Rod Pedersen on demand. For more of The Rod Pedersen Show, visit rodpedersen.com or follow Rod Pedersen on social media.